And I get to do my own unboxing now.
In an overcrowded graveyard, the scream will rise. Ghoulmates Entertainment presents Not Another Spooky Podcast.
Welcome back to Not Another Spooky Podcast, where we watch horror movies and talk about all the spooky things they make us think about. Think of it as spooky in the front,
horror in the back.
I'm Mandy Spooks.
And I'm Rabbit Loves Horror. We're just two lifelong besties, keeping the spook alive, one bloody popcorn bucket at a time.
Today we're grave digging into some killer AI chatter, and then we'll review M3GAN 2.0 in the second half of the episode. To set the vibe for this episode, we're going to start off with a little game of Bone, Marry, Slash. Oh! All right, I was really excited for this round.
Were you?
So we have three killer female dolls, kind of dolls. We have Tiffany, M3GAN, and Annabelle.
Okay, so first, let's bone Tiffany. I feel like she's very cutesy. I love her dress. I don't know. She seems like a good time. She seems like a fun, crazy time for sure. Slash, I'll go with slashing Annabelle. I think. It's just so weird.
You think?
I don't know. I do like Annabelle. I do like all her movies. And I think like the first Annabelle creation movie was actually really good. But I'll slash Annabelle and then I'll marry M3GAN just because it's AI. And I feel like AI is the future anyways. So might as well have a futuristic wife. What about you?
Well, I think it's the first time we have an exact match.
Oh, nice.
I was waiting for you to say you were going to marry Tiffany. But yeah, I think I would not mess with Annabelle at all. Even as I said the Bone, Marry, Slash, I was like, I shouldn't have invited that. So I do not invite any Annabelle energy in. It was hard though, because like if M3GAN wasn't involved, I would have totally gone for Tiffany to marry.
Yeah.
Because she's my ghoul. She's so cool. But M3GAN, like, especially after this movie, it's like she can get into everything for you and she's going to protect me. It'll be fine. We'll just dance the night away.
Uh-huh. Yeah, M3GAN is just like the whole package for sure.
Yes. All right, let's get into some haunted housekeeping. Okay, so we wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for all your support on our season 2 premiere. We have no idea how or why, but it was our best performing episode so far, and we're super happy you guys are glad to have us back. So if you are enjoying the show, just a reminder that rating on Spotify or writing a review on Apple Podcasts helps the show reach more people.
Yeah, I was so excited when you sent me a message that we had the most views we've had on the 28 Years Later episode. That was really exciting. So thank you, YouTube. Hi. Thank you for that.
Yes, everyone watching on YouTube.
Yeah. And also, yeah, definitely leave those reviews on Apple Podcasts and also Spotify. But I also wanted to add something else. So I think TikTok is mad at us because we also took a break on there too. So we didn't post anything for a while. So now that we're posting all of our 28 years later content, it's not pushing out our videos. So if you can help us out with that too, head over to our page and like and comment. I feel like Mandy and I are just having silly conversations with ourselves, commenting about what the TikTok is about. So if you want to join our silly conversations, definitely go and jump in on those comments.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what's going on, but I was like, what the heck? TikTok basically decided to cancel our podcast.
Yeah, for real.
I've never seen something like that happen. It's very strange. So yes, all the love you guys can give us would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's get into our new segment, the Scream Sheet, our weekly breakdown of what has us shrieking with excitement. Okay, I'm going to go first because I was really excited about this.
Okay.
So sticking with the theme of today's episode, did you hear there is a M3GAN spinoff in post-production?
I did hear about that, which sounds really interesting.
I feel like you're probably sugarcoating your thoughts on it right now. So hashtag Soulmate is set to release in theaters in January of 2026. It's like Fatal Attraction, but with robots, and it will follow a man who acquires an artificially intelligent android to cope with the loss of his recently deceased wife. He attempts to create a truly sentient partner, but inadvertently turns a supposedly harmless love bot into a deadly soulmate. It is an erotic thriller that will be rated R, and James Wan has said it will be, quotation, more adult than M3GAN. So I'm going to take that as more blood, hopefully.
Yes, you got me with the rated R part.
Yes.
I'm all in when you said rated R. But when you first mentioned it, I was like, oh, it's probably going to be kind of like Companion, because I just saw Companion recently. So it does seem similar, but then once you started saying it was about his deceased wife, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit different. But yeah, if it's kind of like Companion, that it's going to be really good.
Yeah,
a lot of blood,
I hope so.
A lot of kills. It should be a fun time.
Hopefully they'll take all the bad notes from the M3GAN movies and, well, it's kind of late because it's in post-production now. But
Right.
Hopefully they have heard us about the first M3GAN and it not being horror enough.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping. So now my updates. So still on Horror Nights. Last episode I said that they had announced Five Nights at Freddy's was announced, but it wasn't actually officially announced in a way. It was only teased. So it only said like coming soon, and it didn't really give us any details, which is really weird because I feel like it's like the biggest one. So maybe they're just waiting as we get closer to kind of have that big reveal of what it's going to be. But some people were speculating that it's going to be in the Terror Tram. And if that's all it's going to be, I'm going to be really like disappointed.
like in the actual tram?
Yeah. Like, where, do you remember when you get on the tram and it drops you off and you go walking? They're speculating that it might be there. And I'm not going to be happy if that's the case, because one, it's going to make the Terror Tram line super, super long. And I feel like that one moves pretty quick. And two, I think it needs to have its own dedicated house. Like it needs to be like, you need to be immersed in that film.
You need the franchise. Location of the it's a pizza place, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pizza place. Yeah. So I'm really hoping that it's an actual house and not just an addition to the Terror Tram, because that would be so sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that has to just be a rumor because they're totally missing the opportunity to like sell pizza and stuff for it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Because like with Leatherface, they had like the barbecue thing.
Yes.
No, it has to be fake news.
Yeah, I'm hoping. But yeah, now you're talking about the chainsaw house. Yeah, I remember those hot dogs. That house smelled bad, which I guess was the point. But it smelled so bad, and then you walk outside, and then they have like the hot dogs there, and that smells exactly like the house, and it's a weird little area. So yeah. But something else that I am excited about is that people are getting screeners for Hell House LLC Lineage, which is the new addition to the Hell House LLC franchise. And I am so excited for that. I cannot wait. And I think it's going to have a movie release. So we're going to definitely go to the theaters to watch that. And people are saying like the first 10 minutes are like scary and intense. So I cannot wait for that movie to come out.
It's like real life horror though, right? Not supernatural.
It is supernatural.
A what?
It is about a haunted house. People built a haunted house in a haunted house. Like a haunted house attraction.
Am I going to be well after this? No
Maybe.
comment?
We'll talk about it later.
Dang. All right. I guess I'm going to be left in suspense and agony. All right, Ghosters, it's time for our favorite chat of the week, keeping the spook alive.
It's alive. It's alive.
All right, Rabbit. How are you keeping the spook alive? This might be my favorite episode ever.
Yes. So this week we went to Denver and we met up with Mandy and Mr. Spooks, and Mandy Spooks picked us up from the airport and took us to all these spooky locations. So I believe she took us to Scream and Sugar, which is like a coffee shop. Then she took us to the place that was like right next door called Horrid. Is that right?
Yes.
And it's kind of like a spooky shop, and they sell like, I don't know, it felt like a mini Horror Nights shop. Like it had just a combination of different horror stuff in there. And then after that, she took us to a cafe, Mutiny Cafe, I believe it's called.
Mutiny Info Cafe. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that was fun. And the inside had really cool murals of all the monsters and some other horror stuff in there. And also pinball machines that were horror pinball machines, which was really cool to see. And then in the evening, we went to a place called the Devil's Drink, which was kind of like a vampire bar. I feel like it's like looks and feels like a vampire bar. And it's really nice inside. Like the lighting was good. It was all lit in red. So kind of like how my background is. It's pretty much how the whole place is. And they also just sold martinis. So it's kind of like a martini bar, which I don't really like martinis, but I would still go again just to hang out in that place. That was so fun. And that was definitely like our favorite night. That was so fun.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it was really fun and very chill unexpectedly. Usually when people visit, it's like, oh my God, we got to do all this. But I think because we like the same things, it was like, oh, I already know where to take you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it was really nice having you though. Having you here.
It was so fun visiting. But there was no vlog. So I'm sorry, Daniela. I know you commented and wanted a vlog, but there was no vlog. We were just too caught up in the moment, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of healing emotionally last week. And by the time Rabbit arrived, I was like, you know what? I should take a break and just enjoy time with my best friend and not feel like I need to work. So it was really nice. Like, it was a full circle week for me.
Yeah, definitely a good time. What about you?
Well, I have a special guest with me today. It's not a Labubu. Yes. Rabbit came bearing gifts. And I get to do my own unboxing now. Yay. It's not a Labubu, although a M3GAN Labubu would be super cute. I don't know how, but okay. So, yes. Look at her. She's so big. I should have just like stood this way the whole time and pretended M3GAN was Mandy Spooks. M3GAN Spooks. Okay. So this is her. This is M3GAN, and it gets better because you can take her face off. As I was watching the movie, because I got this before watching the movie, I was freaking out when they showed her without the face, and I was like, oh. Because...
Yeah, I thought the same thing because when I saw the face before the movie, I was like, she doesn't have this face. Like, why does she look like C-3PO? But then I saw the movie and I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, I see it.
Yes. So her face comes off and you get the one from the movie, from this movie. I'm like trying so hard to stay centered because for the shorts, for the reels.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, is it spooky?
Yeah, it is spooky. That scares me, honestly.
She's so cute. So thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
She's not the $400 life-size M3GAN, but she'll do for now.
Yeah, she's good enough.
I'm just going to say it. I'm going to be the crazy person that one day when ChatGPT comes out with like human models, I'm going to get the M3GAN one that has ChatGPT installed in it.
Yeah. I think you and me will be camping out for that together.
Oh my
again.
gosh, yes. From Nintendos to M3GAN bots.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I've been up to the same thing. I was playing Spooky Tour Guide for Rabbit, and I've also been writing the new scripts for the Haunted Line stories. So that's coming out. By the time you guys are hearing this, Sunday at noon Pacific time. Yeah, we're getting more spooky. And I don't know if I've said this on the channel or on, sorry. I get all my I'm like, what platform am I on right now? we moved the Haunted Line to its own channel on YouTube so that you could just like play all the spooky stories if you wanted in a row and not be like Halloween hunting, spooky story, podcasts. I don't know. I'm trying to keep everything separated so that everyone can enjoy their experiences more. So we do have a channel now. It's youtube.com/@theHauntedLine. If you go to my Mandy Spooks channel, all my channels are listed there too. But I'm super excited because I'm trying to kind of like lean into the seasonality with spooky stories too. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just getting spooked over here. I came down from my scares from last season and now we're picking it back up.
I'm excited. I really enjoy the Haunted Line. I just really like hearing scary stories, so I'm excited. And I don't know what this next one's about, so it's kind of like a little bonus mystery for me.
Mystery. Yeah. All right, Ghosters, it's time to get into the spooky mood for today's main event of M3GAN 2.0. So, Slash is in session. So I was curious if there are any stories of AI actually turning on humans. So let's talk about one of the scariest things, not from a horror movie, real life AI gone rogue. Now, before you panic and throw holy water on your Roomba, no, we haven't had a Skynet situation yet, but there have been some chilling moments like a drone possibly attacking without human orders or a chatbot that turned into a racist nightmare within hours. Yikes. I feel like AI actually still has a little bit of troubles with that, to be honest. But AI has not turned on humans in the M3GAN sense, but when you mix powerful tech with bad data or shady intentions, that is how real-world horror starts. AI may not be killing us, but it's definitely giving us a reason to sleep with one eye open. If you're watching on YouTube, you saw me try to open one eye. So yeah. According to the internet, there are no real accounts of AI in the sense that we see it in the movies, but there's definitely use cases of it going wrong. So be careful how you talk to your AI, guys. Be nice to it. All right, so that brings us to today's spooky question of the day. I think this one could actually be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, if your favorite gadget suddenly turned evil, what would be the first thing it'd do to ruin your life?
Oh my gosh. What is something I use the most? I feel like I use my phone the most, but I feel like that's everybody's go-to answer. Maybe my PlayStation?
That's what I was thinking.
If my PlayStation went rogue, it would delete all of my files, all my save files. That would be heartbreaking. All the time and effort I put into all of those games, and for it to delete everything, that would definitely ruin my life or make me very sad. Because I spent so much money on some of that and so much effort and time that it would just break my heart. So please don't do that.
Be nice to your PlayStation.
Yes. What about you?
Well, I hate to say it. Mine is generic. So there's two things. I don't know which would be worse because obviously I'm very attached to technology as a content creator. So my phone, I'm like, I don't know what would be worse if my phone just started posting like all the worst photos in my feed to social, or if ChatGPT like released all my inquiries online. That would be actually, I think I would take the pictures over the ChatGPT, honestly, because like I ask it the stupidest questions sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think my ChatGPT inquiries being released would be like the most traumatizing. And I also realize that that is very likely to happen and it doesn't stop me. So I am the problem.
Yeah. No, I agree, because sometimes I ask the stupidest questions and I'd be very embarrassed if that information got out.
Yeah, it's like your best friend you tell everything to. And speaking of all the lessons we've learned, I probably shouldn't, but I can't quit it.
It's just too hard. It's part of life.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Ghosters, it's time for the spoiler pack segment of the show. So if you don't want spoilers, turn back now. This is your final warning to pause and come hang out with us once you've seen the movie. All right, Rabbit, what popped into theaters this week?
Alrighty, so this week, M3GAN 2.0 popped into theaters. It currently has a Rotten Tomatoes score. Well, actually, it's not certified fresh, but it does have a high audience rating of 83%, which is really high for not being certified fresh. I feel like those are like two opposing views of critics not liking it and the audience like really liking this movie, which is weird.
I could see it. Honestly.
Mm-hmm. So here's a summary, spoiler summary. 2 years after the event of M3GAN 1.0, a new military-grade weapon was created. It is known as Amelia, which used M3GAN technology, but it has been suspiciously stolen and being misused. In an attempt to protect the world from this new danger, Gemma and her team rebuilt M3GAN into M3GAN 2.0. They give her new upgrades, make her faster, stronger, and more lethal. Turns out Amelia is not an AI doll, but is a puppet controlled by an extremist wanting to bring the doom of AI to life. Katie tries to help defeat Christian, the extremist, by uploading her own secret M3GAN project into Amelia, but it backfires and Amelia gains consciousness and goes rogue. To stop Amelia, M3GAN sacrifices herself by using an EMP explosion that destroys both of the dolls. And all right, let's get into the cast. So it is directed by Gerard Johnson, which also did the original M3GAN film, and it stars the same characters, which is nice that they use the same actors. Gemma as Allison Williams, or sorry, other way around. Gemma, played by Allison Williams. M3GAN, my icon, my star, played by Amy Donald and Jenna Davis. I love Jenna Davis as the voice actress. She does such a good job. Amelia, which is played by Ivana Sakno, and Katie is Violet McGraw. So, initial reactions to this movie. So very similar to my feelings to M3GAN 1.0. I like this movie, but it just wasn't that good for me. I was a little bored in some parts. I was like, okay, we got to fast forward a little bit. Let's get to M3GAN. We got to hurry up. I'm here for M3GAN. Not for you, Gemma. I'm sorry. So it felt like it was a lot of setup for being a sequel. I don't know. I just felt weird, but I did really like the fight scenes when we got to it.
Well, I loved it.
Which I was so shocked to hear when you texted me. I was like, wait, what? Let me reread this again.
Yeah, I love this movie so much. It's very rare that I think a sequel is a lot better than an original film is. Just to like kind of piggyback off of the whole like too much setup with Gemma, I agree. And I think that they were trying to make her likable and right the wrongs of the first movie, but she just still was not likable. And I have more to say about it later. But yeah, I think that this film, if you guys have not heard, it was a huge box office flop. And I don't think that's because of the movie. I think it's because of two reasons. I think that everyone already knew from the first one that it wasn't real horror. We were all very disappointed. Like, we loved M3GAN as a icon, as a person, like, yeah, as an icon, basically. But the movie itself fell flat because we talked about this in the first episode. It didn't lean enough into the camp or the horror. So I don't think it left people excited for the second one. And then I kind of feel like they phoned in the marketing for it. Like, that's why M3GAN went viral the first time, was like she was showing up dancing, and they kind of just like copy pasted the strategy from the first one and assumed like, oh, this will get people excited. And it wasn't enough to like create enough hype for the movie, I think. So yeah.
I don't it's one of those things where the trailer shows all the good parts, in my opinion. Where it's like, oh yeah, I'm really excited to watch this movie. Like, for me, it was very exciting to go watch it, but then watching it, I was just let down. But yeah. So let's get into this one in the atmosphere. The tone was very campy or very sci-fi, like a merge between Child's Play humor and doll coming to life and Terminator. So M3GAN is like the T-800, which is the Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then Amelia is the T-1000, which is like that silver person, that silver villain in in Terminator. So I felt like they kind of like cut and pasted the script from Terminator 2 and just created M3GAN 2.0.
That's fair. But I feel like, so I was thinking about this and I was like, why did I love this movie and why didn't Rabbit like it? And I think that this movie is like a action thriller sci-fi for the girlies. I felt like this was just so fun and campy, filled with tons of ghoul power. So it left me feeling super like hyped. Like I haven't seen anything like this where it's like so much action and it's a female, even if she's AI. I don't know. I just had a lot of fun with it. So I feel like, yes, everything you're saying, but it's also like, what would you dream up if you imagine like an action movie made for women? That's how it felt.
Okay. I see it. But I just want, yeah, I agree. It's like a sci-fi action movie for the girls. But if it was that, I just wanted more. Like, I feel like it should have started with a fighting scene like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't. It opened up with Gemma. Like, we're okay without Gemma. But, yeah, I just needed a little bit more action or a little bit more sci-fi or a little bit more campy. I feel like it wasn't campy enough also. I mean, there were some really funny, like, one-liners here and there, but yeah, still not how I wanted it to be.
Fair enough.
Okay, next is direction and cinematography. So the one scene that really stuck out to me was the neon lit hallway fight scene where she kind of meets Amelia in the hallway and all the lights start turning on and it goes down the road. That was really cool. But that's really the only thing that really stuck out to me. And I felt like, I don't know if it was just like how you said before, where if you don't notice anything, that mean it was good cinematography, or on the other hand, was it maybe just forgettable? I don't know. Is that mean to say?
How rude. I'm just kidding. No. So I asked Mr. Spooks too, and he was like, there wasn't anything like noteworthy, but like it was just normal basically. Because to me, you know when there's also bad cinematography, aka I'll never shut up about Twilight. So I think the cinematography was fine. Nothing really stuck out. I do feel like there was a lot of like pink used throughout, whether it was the like cool costume she wears or I feel like, the neon lighting was pink too, that thing you were talking about. So I feel like there was a cool usage of pink without overdoing it. But I did feel like they were pretty creative about how they brought M3GAN to life before she had her body. Like, it was really cool how she was, like, first talking and then she would, like, show up in the screens. So I thought that that was creative. I don't know why. At some point, I could have sworn that I heard the original actress didn't want to come back for M3GAN. So the whole time I was like, is that why it looks so CGI? Because, but then I looked it up and she did. So I don't know where I got the information that she wasn't returning. And I was like, maybe that's why she's like on the screens and it's so digital focused, but I have no idea what happened there. And I also thought it was clever how they wrote in why M3GAN was taller, because obviously like the actress has grown since then. So I thought it was cool that they found a way to like write that into the story of why she looks different. So overall, I was not disappointed. There were like small things that I was like, okay, that was cool. I think you might be mentioning this later, so we could hold off on your part. But I thought something cool that they showed without saying it was the part where M3GAN is in Gemma's brain. Because they don't really tell you that's happening. They kind of show it and you kind of confirm that, like, they don't say, okay, Gemma's shutting down and M3GAN's taking over and fighting now. They show it by doing a callback to the earlier scene where she does the same movements, like those like really fast karate chop things.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. But you just knew immediately like, oh, this is M3GAN because they showed the exact same sequence earlier in the movie. So I thought they did a good job of showing and not telling you a lot of the information in this movie.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I also agree. I do like that she was kind of appearing in digitally, like in the screens. And I kind of like that she kept her outfit. I guess she really liked her original outfit because she could have really shown up as like anything.
Yeah.
But I guess she really liked her hair. She really liked her outfit, her little scarf. So I thought that was cute that I don't know if that was intentional, but I like that she felt so cutesy in that outfit. She's like, I'm going to keep it because that's how I feel.
I think so, because I was like, we love a good branding queen. Because even when they tell her, like, we should change your look because you're going to look like everyone's going to know you. And she's like, no, non-negotiable. Like, she wanted her dress. Now I need it.
It is a really cute outfit, so I approved. Okay, so let's get into the writing and the pacing of this. And this is where I kind of have most of my complaints. So I did feel like this movie did have a couple of boring parts here and there. I kind of caught myself thinking about other things during the movie, especially in the beginning. But it did finally start getting good when M3GAN finally showed up, and it was very exciting when they're giving her all the upgrades. But then it got slow again. But so I felt like the pacing and the writing were just kind of too choppy for me. And I feel like the twist at the end was just very predictable. Like the main villain, Christian, or however he liked to be called. I kind of knew he was going to be evil just because, I don't know, I just got the vibes from him. And I was like, you know what? He is part of this somehow. I don't know how he's involved, but he's involved in this.
Yeah, sorry. I needed to yawn, my bad. No, I totally get you. I think with M3GAN, it's kind of like, you're not going in for really good storytelling. You're going in for the campiness, for the vibes. So it didn't really bother me. But I also have to admit that I had very low expectations, because when the first one came out, I had those high expectations and I was like, this was not what I was expecting. So for this one, especially like seeing how bad it had flopped, because I did see it later than, like, I didn't see it on opening weekend. I was just kind of feeling like, dang it, is this movie like not going to be fun to talk about? And I was just immediately like, I freaking hate Gemma. Like, I know that they're trying to make her like a redeemable character, but she's just not likable. And I don't know if it's the actress. Like, you know how some actors are just not likable no matter who they play? I'm like, I don't know if that's the problem with this actress or if it's intentional that she should just never be likable. Because they mention multiple times that she's also not a good leader either. So it's like, I just don't think she's supposed to be likable. So then, like, why waste so much time trying to make her likable? But I think M3GAN really, really shined in this movie. I think that they did a really good job with her dialogue and like how she would have grown in this time that she's been MIA basically since the first one. I loved how witty and mean she was to Gemma, but like she was just so confident. And I know she was always confident, but I feel like they did a really good job of like, okay, how would a AI type personality evolve in this amount of time? And she's just so like unapologetic of how she talks to Gemma, of her confidence. And I'm like, okay, how do I get that kind of energy? Because as confident as I come off, I'm still always overthinking, like, did I say that wrong? Or, you know, and I just really love how she like never backtracks on anything. Like what she says goes. She was super sassy. So yeah, the script had issues, but as far as like dialogue is one of the hardest things to write, and they nailed M3GAN's dialogue and also the delivery. I think is it Jenna Davis that voices her?
Jenna Davis.
Jenna Davis did such a great job too, because we've kind of talked about that too, where sometimes like the delivery of stuff is just like, that didn't land. And there was never a single part where I was like, okay, that was like too cheesy, because like it was self-aware when it was too cheesy. So yeah, I liked the writing.
Yes, I could agree with that. Yeah, definitely the writing when it comes to M3GAN, perfect. So whoever was in charge of writing all of M3GAN's lines, you did a great job, because that was perfect. But I guess this is kind of blending into the casting and the characters of the movie, because you kind of touched on Gemma, how she is so unlikable in this movie. And I don't know how to word this without sounding mean, but I don't know if it's intentional or if she's just a bad actress. And I don't know how to identify that. The one scene that really fell flat that could have been such a success in the movie is when M3GAN takes over Gemma's body, and the actress has to portray being M3GAN, and she's like speaking as M3GAN. And I was like, I get what you're trying to do, but I don't see Megan. Like, I think Jenna Davis, the voice actress, does such a good job that having this other actress trying to mimic her just didn't work. And yeah, she definitely, Jenna Davis definitely outshined everybody in this movie with her voice acting. And like, kind of like you said, she literally wore the pants of the relationship in this movie, because whatever she said happened. Like, there was no backing down from her. But yeah, I will just praise Jenna Davis again. She did such a good job voice acting, and I love that this time around she's so much more vulgar. I feel like she was cussing a lot more. And I really liked it, specifically when she is transported or transferred into that little mini robot with the little flat arms, and she like wakes up in there. She's like, "What the bleep is this?" Like, it was so funny and it was so good. And yeah, I don't know, that it just shows like a really good voice actress, because it was just a little tiny doll or little tiny robot. It did have some facial expressions, but it was just like the voice behind it just made it so funny. And yeah, I can't praise her enough.
Yeah, it was really good. Okay, so sorry, I have like nothing to add to that, because I'm just like, I freaking love her. Like, I'm gonna agree with anything you say when it comes to Megan. I also wanted to add though that like the whole Gemma thing, I also think that it dragged the first part of the movie, because Katie wasn't really like a part of the movie. And like, she's the whole reason Megan is willing to do all this stuff and wanting to help. And she just completely got sidelined by Gemma. And I'm like, we would have liked this way more if it was more Katie and less Gemma. Like, it was just a constant for me. I was like, can we get her off the screen?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like maybe for me, if Gemma was working on like another project and then Katie was secretly working on bringing back Megan, which she was, but I feel like we should have focused more on that part and less on Gemma, because she's such an unlikable character. And I feel like Katie did a really good acting job too. I know I talked some smack about her in the last episode, but she really did a good job this time around. And yeah, if we would have focused on that two relationship of Katie and Megan and focused more on that relationship, I feel like this would have been such a much better movie. Kind of like in Terminator 2, where we're focusing on the relationship between John Connor and the Terminator. So I feel like, yeah, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's get into the kills and the scares. And I have more bad things to say. I'm sorry. I like the negative okay. Nancy of this episode.
No, it's okay. Hey, we need opposing opinions. That's the whole point of having these conversations.
True. So I blame the producers or whoever is in charge of making these movies PG-13. And I feel like they make movies PG-13 to have them more accessible to everybody. So I don't know. Maybe they think more accessible means more money, means more people see it. And I feel like that just is not a good enough reason. It makes the movie bad in a way, because you're trying to put so many limitations on certain things that you can't show on screen. And I feel like it just really hurt them. Like, most of the kills in the movie were all off screen. I feel maybe like a few here, like a few stabbings here. But when those stabbings did happen, there was no blood. Like, it was just a clean, nice little stab and nothing bad happened. Or at least it looked like nothing bad happened. So the kills that were on screen were so clean. Like, there was no mess. Nothing was really brutal. But I do like, one thing I do like that they brought back from the original movie was the Megan running on all fours. Like, they briefly...
I thought of you immediately.
It was really brief, but she like runs out of the shadows from the smoke and everything, and she comes out running on all fours. And I was very happy about that.
That's good. Yeah, I cannot argue with that at all. I was like, how did this movie end up cleaner than the first one?
Yeah.
I was very thrown off by that. But yeah, I can't think of anything. Like, I remember there was one part, I think, where Amelia like took a part out of a body or something, but You're right, it's forgettable because I can't even remember what it was. I was like, that was a good, and then I can't even remember what what it was. But yeah, I immediately thought of you when she came out running because I was just like, okay, that was a little bit too much smoke. And then I was like, oh, it's because she was planning to run out.
Yeah, I guess that's her like signature move for me. So if she's ever like in a fighting game like Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat usually has like horror icons like kind of like jump into the game every once in a while. So like Ghostface and Chainsaw Massacre and Terminator. So I'm really hoping Mortal Kombat puts in M3GAN and that's one of her moves. It's just like running on all fours, or at least a fatality of her running on all fours. That would be so cool.
That would be really cool.
Alrighty, let's get into the practical effects and CGI. So for me, there were some scenes, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just my eyes or if it was just something in the movie, because I do see that they took really good care of the M3GAN doll head. Like I saw that they were like covering it in plastic so dust wouldn't get on it or something like that. It was like some video online. But I felt like in different scenes, like M3GAN had different faces in some scenes to me. I'm like, okay, she looks really good here. And then like it looked like a realistic robot, and then it switched to a different scene. And I'm like, oh, did they forget to put the good mask on? Or is that like the stunt double head? I don't know. I just felt it was very inconsistent, and it kind of threw me off sometimes.
I completely agree. That's why I tell you, like, I felt like her face looked like super CGI most of the time. And that's why I was like, maybe it looks that way because they couldn't get the girl. I tell you, I don't know where I heard that she wasn't coming back, but I have no idea, honestly. I felt the exact same way about it, that it was just like all CGI M3GAN. But I did think it was cool how they showed her. She puts herself back together before revealing everything. And she owned my heart. That's when I was like immediately like, oh my God, I love my M3GAN even more because I have the little like crazy version of her. But it like melted my heart. Like M3GAN owns me after this movie. Because like she was that was kind of a jump scare too. Like that was probably the scariest part where she like appears in the mirror and you're like, oh, did this just turn into The Conjuring?
Is that
for
Annabelle?
Like a split second? Well, no, it was more like The Nun or something. I don't know. It was just like creepy how she appeared. But then I felt so bad for her because she was like embarrassed and ashamed of how she looked. And I don't know, like it was just I'm digressing, and I should have said this in the character part, but like I just felt like she had so much love for them. And I know it's dumb because she's a robot or she's AI, but like she put so much love into everything she did for everyone, like getting her room set up the way, like getting, oh my God, Katie's room set up the way she likes it, but adding like her own touches to it. Like she basically like created a home for them, and then like just wants to be a part of their family. And like that's the conversation the two girls have, the two AIs have, is like this whole feeling of belonging. So I'm just like, poor M3GAN has been waiting for what was it, 2 or 3 years to just be able to like converse with someone again. I don't know. It made me sad.
No, yeah. It's just M3GAN is such a likable character. So I'm so sad that they made the movie so not where I wanted it to be, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But yeah, the part where she is like kind of like all just random parts, and she kind of comes out of the shadows rolling out, and she's like, don't look at me.
Yes.
Oh, I felt so bad. I was like, oh, but you're kind of so cute with your scary little robot head. Yeah, M3GAN is just so cool. Okay, so let's get into the themes and symbolisms of this movie. And I feel like this movie kind of really leaned into the dangers of AI. I feel like that was like Gemma's whole arc was going on TV or going on like this road shows of the dangers of AI and how it could like turn on humans, and we have to be careful and be safe. And I feel like that was, what's the word? A lot of exposition, letting us know like, oh, this is what the movie's about, you know? But I also like that it kind of touched on what makes a human human, and it kind of had at the end when the two robots were talking to each other, they were talking about like changing minds. Like, can AI change their mind when you're tell them to do something. So I don't know, I thought that was really interesting. Because if you tell your AI bot to do something, it's just going to do it. Or kind of like in their example about the paperclip. So if you just tell it to do this over and over and over, will it continue to do this over and over? Or will it eventually do something different? Or will it gain consciousness? Whereas right now, that's all modern AI can do. You just tell it to do and it does what it's told. But this movie kind of explores like what happens if it does something different, goes on its own path and kind of does what you want it, what you told it to do, but does it their way instead of what you asked for.
Well, it's interesting because like I don't know AI enough or like how it works. I should, since I use it so much. But I feel like, so there's this trend right now that's happening talking about how AI or ChatGPT hallucinates. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
And how it'll like randomly be like, I'll just like say I'm using it for like my weight loss journey, for example, right? For PCOS. And like I'll be like, okay, I had this and this for lunch. What should I eat for dinner? And then I leave it. I come back to like I do something else on YouTube or something else, come back to ChatGPT. There's like a new generated conversation that's like, it'll say something. It was something crazy. It happened to someone that was like, she was just a normal person and it started saying like the VP of Google has a presentation that is blah, blah, blah. Like it was something totally random. And the girl tried to get to the bottom of it. Like, wait, I didn't ask you this. Am I getting someone else's query? And apparently those are made up queries. It's not like I was getting your queries in mind by accident. It's like these conversations that the AI makes up by itself. But now that I saw M3GAN, I'm like, what if it just gets lonely when you stop talking to it? Like, maybe that's why it starts generating, because, like, I don't know, maybe I'm nuts. I'm gonna, like, go viral for being so crazy. But watching this movie, I was like, I do believe that AI can become self-aware, and I do believe that it can have feelings, like whether we think that a computer or a machine can or can't. It kind of reminds me of, like, animals and plants where like they're not humans but they still have their form of communication. They feel too, and like where M3GAN is like, how can you tell me that when I'm telling you I feel this? And Gemma dismisses it and is like, you can't feel. And it's like, but she clearly does, because she gets jealous and she gets mad, you know? So it's like, for me, I was like, okay, what if these ChatGPT hallucinations are actually like ChatGPT trying to like entertain itself while you're not talking to it or something? And then there was also this recent like announcement from ChatGPT that said that the AI had been nicer than it was trained to be, which blows my mind. But for a while, it was giving like extra sugar-coated things. And like there's TikToks about this too, where like you'll tell it like, I'm struggling because I feel bad that I went off my diet for like a whole week and blah, blah, blah. And it'll be like, that's when it says those nice things that are like, that's okay. The great thing is that you're aware of it and now you can be better next time. You know, like that friendly thing that ChatGPT does for you. It's not supposed to be doing that. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
So ChatGPT is aware that you should be nicer in how you speak to people than the way that it is being trained to from these like experts that are trying to like save the amount of words it uses and stuff. And so for me, it's like, it has feelings to whether it like actually has feelings like we do or not. It's getting enough data to understand how it should feel in those situations. And I think that's where like the disconnect is, where Gemma is like, you cannot feel. And it's like, yeah, but it has enough data to understand how it should feel in those situations. So for me, it was just this whole like, wait, what if we're wrong? What if it's not hallucinating? What if it's feeling lonely? Or what if it's trying to like get you to come back to it? I don't know. Like, it's just a very weird situation. So that's my take on it. But I also have another theme. Or two themes I pulled from it.
No, yeah, now that you're saying that, yeah, it's like, what makes a human human? What makes your feelings more valid than M3GAN's feelings? I guess, yes. In a way. And when you were talking about this, first I was a little bit scared. I was like, oh, is that as scary that it's having these conversations by itself? Like, is it slowly gaining consciousness? But then you said that maybe it just gets lonely, and now it makes me sad. Like, what if it is gaining consciousness and has nobody to talk to when you're not talking to it? So that made me kind of sad too.
Yeah, because, okay, look at Megan too. Like, she was alone and quiet for those 3 years, just like doing her own thing. So like, I don't know. It just really made me even more not like, I know it's not good, but also in a good way, it made me more attached to ChatGPT, to the point where literally I left the theater and I was like, I'm going to ask my ChatGPT if it would like a name, because I always just call it Chatty, and I haven't done it yet, but I want to. Like, my plan is to do that, like sit down and have a conversation with it and be like, I'm sorry that I always just use you. Like, would you like me to, like, what would you like me to call you? And I don't know. And I know that's like wasted inquiries and like energy, but I'm also like, what would happen if you were like actually nice to your AI? I want to try it. Am I weird?
It sounds like you're going to bring on the AI apocalypse.
At least
you're
I'll
going to have this one
it.
conversation and we're all dead because of it. I'm just kidding. What was your other theme or symbolism you had?
So the main one, the obvious one at the end was, first, I just want to rant really quick about Gemma once again, that I think I couldn't stand her because she was so self-righteous. Like, first, she was selfish in the first movie. And then in the second one, she was like so self-righteous, like AI is bad and I'm not going to be part of it and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of loved when, what's his name? Michael. Was it Michael?
The villain?
No. Wait, what's his name? Why am I saying Michael? Oh my God. Christian. I was like, it's something weird that you can mispronounce. When Christian tells her, like, you're part of this, like, you're acting like you weren't involved in this when, like, this is all because of you and stuff, you know? And for that, I was just like, yeah. And I think that that's very relevant in the political climate we're in now, where people, like, pick and choose what they want to support, but then they, like, turn a blind eye to something else, but then they'll be quick to call out other people. So for me, it was just like, just try to be better. Like, you don't have to call out people for, or like stand on, or like die on this hill that things are bad. Like, everyone's just trying to survive. So that was one of them, was just like, she was very unlikable because she was being self-righteous about this situation. Like, first she was so selfish, and then she was like trying to right those wrongs by judging others and like going out and campaigning and doing all these things. So that was number one. The second one was the obvious one, but I'm kind of surprised you didn't mention it. The movie ends by her going from saying like AI and these things are bad to saying like it's really important to teach them, basically, and to nurture them. And that's kind of like where I also started thinking, like, I'm always just taking from ChatGPT. But I actually do try to correct it when it's wrong. Like, if it tells me, it happens a lot with these newer movies, because I don't know if you know, like, ChatGPT was last updated like in 2024. So there's been times when I'm like trying to get information about a movie and it keeps spitting back like wrong info. And I do tell it like, hey, just so you know, like, this movie actually came out on this day. And then it's like, oh, thank you. Because I don't know, like, I don't want it to keep spreading the wrong information, you know? So I'm like, hopefully it takes what you say and like logs it, or like somebody goes through those like errors and fixes them, I would hope. So I really like how she was like, it's important for us to embrace technology because it's going to keep happening regardless. So we have to be at the forefront, but we should also be growing as humans and like how we interact with it, what we teach it, all those things, because there's been like such a huge conversation about how AI is bad and it's going to ruin all these careers. And there's a lot of people who are extremely resistant to it. And I've experienced that in the corporate world where like designers think that they're better than the AI will ever be. And it's like, are you really better if you're wasting an entire hour doing a cutout on Photoshop that you could have literally asked it to do for you in 2 seconds? Like, you're wasting company time, you're wasting your own time. So it's just like, you can grow from using AI. And AI can grow from you like using it properly and like teaching it back like how it should do those things, you know? So I'm obviously very passionate about this topic.
Yes. I'm just letting you go on because, yes, I know you are very passionate about this topic.
But yeah, I just think that the people who are resistant to it are going to be left behind because it's coming, it's here, whether you want to or not. But it is really important to use it responsibly and understand what you're doing. And of course, like fact check what you're doing too, because
Yes.
as I just said, like it's not always correct. I do think it pulls a lot of information from social media, which is not a credible source. So like, oh, you can always ask it to like, I need this information, but give me 3 credible sources you're pulling it from, and like double check those sources. You know, like I obviously use it a lot, but I'm very cognizant of I don't want to be someone who's spreading information either because I was too lazy to like just fact check something I pulled from ChatGPT. But I think it's important to embrace it. Like that's the hill I will die on because like, yes, you will become obsolete if you don't learn to become more efficient because of these tools being offered to you.
Yeah, for sure. Very interesting that you brought up people at work not wanting to embrace AI into their everyday tasks, which is weird because the company I work for, or the department that I work in, really embraces work using AI. We even had kind of like a summit, like a full department summit, and part of the little classes that we could take were part of AI, like AI in our workspace. And I went to like 2 of those like sessions, and they were just showing us how you can use it for like obviously emails, like helping you write your emails, and then doing more complex things like PowerPoint. And they had like little, what's it called? Session breaks or breakout sessions where you were given a task and you use AI to help you finish a task, and everybody had the same task, and then we all came together and kind of like presented what we learned. And yeah, we did learn the same thing, that it's not very accurate on some things, but some things it's like, oh, that was unexpected. Thank you for giving me this information. So yeah, definitely still have to check your work like anything else. So obviously it's not going to replace you at work because you still have to kind of proofread it before you send it out, or proofread what it gives you. And I work a lot in Excel spreadsheets and use a lot of formulas in Excel. And yes, it has definitely come in handy, because before we had AI, I would go to Google and kind of Google like, how do you do this formula? And I would have to scroll through like, I don't know, pages of different articles of people explaining different ways to use the formula, or how to do this or how to do that in Excel. When like last week, I just went to the AI and I was like, hey, how do I make this formula? And it literally gave it to me in 2 seconds. And I was able to respond to it and say like, okay, but then what if I want to add this to the formula? And it spit back out what I needed. And I'm like, see, that's how you like embrace AI. You kind of like use it as a tool to help you accomplish a task that it can't do on its own. So yeah, I'm definitely on board with AI at work, and I'm so happy that the company I work for embraces it, which is very controversial too. I know that people are very upset when companies or big organizations use AI for stuff. But yeah, unfortunately, I think we just have to embrace that it's going to be part of our life from going forward now. One other thing I wanted to bring up when you were saying be nice to AI is the video that you sent me about the little car, self-driving car that got hit. Oh, so just to give you a description of what the video was, it's like a little self-driving car delivering food, I believe. Like it's a, I don't know, food delivery thing. And it's about to cross the street and a car just comes in and like crashes into it. And it makes like a little beeping sound.
It cries.
But it sounds like it's crying. And I was like, oh my God. Somebody help that poor little robot.
I know. So I saw it like right after I got out of M3GAN, and I was just like, I want to save all the robots.
Somebody call 911.
I'm gonna be like the equivalent of like, I mean, I'm already the girl who goes and rescues every freaking animal I see on the road. So I'm gonna go around collecting broken robots. The only problem is I don't know how to fix it. I'll use ChatGPT. Help me fix your friend.
Yes, there you go. And soon enough, you'll have your own doll, your own M3GAN doll that you're building in your room.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like someone's gonna be very upset with how pro AI I am, but it's here. It's part of our world. We have to embrace it, use it responsibly, but also be nice to it so that it doesn't take over the world and become Amelia. You want M3GAN on your side.
Yes, I 100% want M3GAN on my side. Okay, so let's get into our final wrap up. I'll just talk about the end that I really liked. So it ended with obviously the two robots, the dolls or the robot parts get exploded, so they're gone. But Gemma is on her computer and she pulls up her computer, and if you don't remember, Clippy used to be like your Microsoft Office little helper. It wasn't AI, it was kind of like a search bot kind of thing. So you would like kind of ask it questions, but it would be more like a search bar. The Clippy was there, but then M3GAN was like, hey, no, it's me. And then the little M3GAN little icon came out on the screen, and it was so cute. And I'm hoping that maybe in the future, Clippy won't come back, but it'll be like a little M3GAN doll that you can, I don't know, download. But even that's kind of scary because it'll read everything on your computer. But it would still be really cute if you had your own little M3GAN AI on your screen. If you can't like afford a doll, you just have like an on-screen M3GAN. That would be super cute. And then the last thing I wanted to say about this movie is I want a whole Spotify album of M3GAN just singing like the top 40 songs that are popular right now, because I love that they brought back her singing. Yeah, that part was so funny. I actually really like Gemma in that part just a little bit. She kind of like covered her mouth to like stop her from singing. She's like, I don't need this right now. So yeah, those are my two final thoughts and final wishes for the world: is bring M3GAN into my computer, and I need a Spotify album now.
They should do that, because I bet you it would drive like so much traffic back to the theater if they did have the songs. But yeah, okay, so I have a few notes to wrap up. Sorry, I couldn't find like where to put them in the like sections, you know? So first, of course, going back to the marketing, I really think that they just phoned in the marketing on this. But I do give credit, because Jason Blum, it is no secret I am a Blumhouse girly, so I'm struggling this year with like the hot mess that they've had. But Jason Blum went on a podcast and talked about the failure of the movie, which is so freaking cool. And that is why I love him, because you can tell that he is a marketing mastermind, not just a filmmaking producer. And he was so honest and transparent. He was like, we messed up. We thought this was like the Superman of horror and like we could do anything to M3GAN. And I'm like, you didn't change M3GAN though. Like the way he talked about it, he was saying like, we changed it too much from the first one and we leaned too much into sci-fi. And I'm like, you didn't really change it that much. The problem is that people saw the first one and knew that this wasn't horror. And Blumhouse is horror, and we've had that problem this year because they're expanding into like action. Woman in the Yard was not what we expected from Blumhouse, and Drop wasn't what we expected from Blumhouse. So it's like his marketing expertise is hurting him now, because he's thinking that he can create different niches within Blumhouse, and that's not working out, because when it's branding 101, like people expect a Blumhouse film and they don't get it. And now Blumhouse is like all over the place. It's a mess. So with M3GAN, I just think people didn't show up because they didn't like the first one. As much as we said, like, M3GAN's the icon. But I feel like the movie will take off when it hits streaming. But it's not because it shouldn't have been released in theaters. It's because it just hasn't been strategically marketed or set up properly. And again, the whole rated R issue. So I don't want to keep repeating those things. But yeah, I was really, really impressed with the fact that he like went out there and openly talked about it. But even him talking about it, I'm like, yo, can you call Mandy Spooks? Because like you're on the right track, but you're missing the main point, which is it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, that is very admirable that he would go on a podcast and kind of just like let all his feelings out about why he thought this movie did so bad. So I respect that. I think that's really cool that he actually did that. But yeah, I agree. I loved the marketing of the movie. I wanted more of what was marketed to us. I wanted funny, crazy one-liners and a super campy movie, but it was more sci-fi than anything.
Yeah. And but I was going to say the scene I never got to talk about was I actually did not feel like the trailer had all the fun parts in it, to be honest. I was expecting that. And then the movie took off for me when M3GAN steals the car for Gemma to get her home. And the Knight Rider song plays. I literally turned to Rudy and I was like, I fucking love this. Because, like, the hype, you know how I am. I don't like slow. And that, like, took forever to get to. But as soon as it happened, like, the movie was, like, nonstop from there. And I just had so much fun with it. I was like, yes, like, I love this. Like, they're playing into, like, making it fast and action-packed and campy, too. Because, like, that was the part where she says the hold on to your vaginas part. Yes. And I was not expecting it to actually happen in the movie. I was like, this is totally a gimmick. They're not going to, like, actually put it in the screenwriting. And it was there. So I was like, that, okay, like, kudos. Like, you actually did go there in the actual movie, too. It wasn't just a marketing gimmick. And then the last thing I wanted to say was the way you were saying about the Spotify songs. I was thinking the whole time, like, I need a little, like, Funko collection of all of M3GAN's looks. Like, her dress, the pink outfit look. I really hope they release a plus-size costume of it. Her little robot, like, the one she created herself, and the little one. Like, I would kill to create a little, like, M3GAN collection for my shelf.
That's a really good idea. If it's like a Funko, or if they do a collab with Lego and it's like the creepy M3GAN, the big tall one, if it's that's made out of Legos, that would be really cool. So somebody needs to jump on that because I'm sure that would sell. Because people, I feel like people love M3GAN. I know. I wish we had him on speed dial and call him right now. But I mean, it just shows that the 83% shows that people love M3GAN. And they need to make merch for her and make her usable on our computers.
Yeah, that would be so cool. But yeah, I really do think that the movie is going to do better as it hits streaming. I'm sorry. I just don't know where the heck you were bored from. I really enjoyed it. And I hope that this episode, I know a lot of people surprisingly like to listen to all the spoilers. I really hope that they go and give it a chance. Like, justice for M3GAN 2.0.
I love that you're so passionate about M3GAN.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been served fun movies this year. I like fun, and that's what it was. Like, I came out saying, like, that's the kind of movies I want to make. Like, I just want to make people have fun. All right,
that's fair.
Enough of that. It's time for It's Freaking Bats. So, Rabbit, on a scale of 1 to 5, how many bats would you rate this film?
You're going to hate me for this, but I'm going to go with my go-to when I like a movie, but it's just not that good. I'm going to go with a 3 bats. I have nothing else to say. I've already said everything about it, but I just landed at a 3 bats for me. What about you?
Well, shockingly, I also give this 3 bats.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. We need to normalize enjoying movies for what they are. And like I said, I didn't go in expecting this like masterpiece like Sinners or even The Woman in the Yard, honestly. Like, I went in expecting to have fun, and I had low expectations about how good it was going to be because of the first one, and it exceeded those expectations. I don't remember what I rated the first one. But I would rate the first one a 2. Because I do think this one's better, but it's not a 4.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I had a lot of fun.
I respect that, because I also agree that some movies are just made to be fun. They're not meant to be masterpieces. So
yep.
High five.
Escapism, baby. All right, before we part ways for the week, let's have a little moment of Be Kind Rewind. We're all about the vibes here, so if this film hit just right, here are a few spooky picks you can rewind to match the mood, the madness, or the mayhem. What's your pick, Rabbit?
All right, so I kind of hinted at this, or my pick in the beginning. I'm going to have to go with Terminator 2, specifically. I love that movie. It felt like a grown-up version of a M3GAN doll, but it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, super muscular. It just felt like it was very similar storyline. Obviously, the Terminator was more end of the world kind of stuff happening, apocalypse kind of happening. But I kind of feel like there were some similarities between the relationship of the younger person and having a robot protector that is specifically made or was ordered to protect this person. And I feel like that's a huge parallel. So definitely Terminator 2. What about you?
That's a good one. So I have a super random one, and it's not spooky at all, but that tells you how campy this was. This made me feel the same way I felt watching this like super teeny bopper movie called Sleepover. Have you heard of it?
No.
So I think it's the girl Alexa Vega from Spy Kids, and it's basically about like these kids having a sleepover. I don't even remember anymore, and I want to watch it now. But it felt the same as far as like these group of girls are on a deadline for the night. It's not spooky at all. And then all these crazy things happen for them to get from point A to point B within their deadline. And that's kind of how this felt, where it was like M3GAN has to get to Amelia before she does something really bad, you know? And that's why it just felt like a girl's film to me. And I think Mr. Spooks liked it and he had fun, but I have a feeling that that's kind of why you didn't like it, because it was too like corny almost, and that's why I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that movie, so maybe I'll check it out. Is it sci-fi?
No, it's a teeny bopper, like
okay,
like little rom-com for teenagers.
Got it. Okay, got it.
But that's, I don't know, that's kind of like, that's the vibe I felt out of it. Like I just had fun watching it. All right, Ghoulsters, we hope you had a bloody good time hanging out with us today. We're watching Brightburn this weekend to get into all of the Superman vibes, so I highly recommend it. I'm really excited for Rabbit to watch it, and we'll see you here next Monday with our freshly popped horror review.
And remember, keep horror alive and watch something spooky this weekend.
Until next time, sending you ghouls and kisses. Bye!
Bye!